Hello all and welcome into WHF Tier 2 Round 4. You're joined by me, WHF Faro, and we are here for in Zandvoort, Netherlands, as we try and get some people still into the lobby. We've unfortunately joined a bit late just because so many people having issues with the game. Unfortunately, as Zampa goes quickest, followed by Stephen Beecham, and I assume followed by Lime. As Ledgeman has already been disqualified because of an apparent skill issue. But let's try and find Cree. Ledgeman, you do not block the pit lane at any point. Don't block the pit lane, because that is what happens. Now we gotta find Cree, and I don't even know what Cree's EA is. But currently Stephen Beecham going quickest, next by TJ. Apologies for the lack of commentary. Still trying to sort a couple people out. There's Controlling and Cree having issues with the servers of the game, so it's not letting them join the server, or not even the server, just the game in general, as I've got to make sure the sound alerts are on, because I forgot to add that. Here we are now. There we are. Sound alerts are now on. Apologies for whoever was playing the sound alerts and didn't hear anything. Cree's finally joined, so hopefully if we can get Controlling in, that'll be our final driver. Cree just gotta pick his V-carb, and then we should have a full grid of 20. As TJ appears to be pushing again on this lap, maybe doing some practice. Although he actually did improve there by half a tenth. But hopefully Cree can grab his car. Ellis is back in again for whatever reason he left. Kevin Kell says maybe good strat. But Sci-Fi Mega Hype starting a lap. You've also got Ollie Bean out in a flyer through the first sector. We'll go on board with the Mercedes driver as we're still trying to work out what Controlling's problems are. Controlling still unable to join. If Controlling can't join, then we can invite another driver of Slow, who it would be a debutant today, and I just hope that at least one of the two can get driving the day. Controlling's going to be restarting again. But hopefully we can get all 20 people in, because you don't want to see as Crimson moves up to P3, but Stephen Beecham seems to be in another world of his own. out there. Ollie Bean now, just believe, completed a lap. Who else do we have actually on a flyer? The Sci-Fi Mega Hype in the V car. As Ledgeman says, going to have 2 recovery drives, and yeah, it seems like that may be the way, unfortunately. Kevin Kell says Ferrari giving Steve extra powers, and speaking of Steve, goes even quicker, goes a 10th quicker, a 9.6 now for Steve in the Ferrari. Can the likes of Ty Clear, Lime and Zampa get anywhere close to that? Or will we have a new driver breaking in to that top 4? But Dubsy now run in the McLaren. Weird to see Dubsy out this early in a qualifying session. I know that 10 minutes have passed, but we normally only see Dubsy come out and do one run at the very end. Here it is, Dubsy coming in as he overtakes the V-Carbon, takes out the the speed limit board into the pit lane. Interesting. Meanwhile, Ty Clear starting a lap now. And we'll go on board with Ty, who won in Spain, his first win in WHF. And can we see Ty get back on winning form here today? Didn't have the best season opener or even the best round 3, but did win in Spain, as Gordon in the chat says, come on Zampa. And Zampa did have an opportunity to win last time out, but had a big spin at turn 1 in Belgium, which would essentially hand the win over to the line. But Zampa fought hard and fought back to overtake Stephen Beecham on the final lap to claim P2. Stephen Beecham still leads the championship here in WHF Tier 2, but Stephen yet to win this season. Could Zandvoort be the opportunity for Stephen to pick up his first win this season? You would absolutely love to see it as Ty Clear moves up to P2, as we've got another Ferrari 1-2 in Spain. We'd have Ferrari 1-2 of Ty Clear and Stephen Beecham crossing the line by the end of the race. Could we see the reverse here in Zandvoort, as F1 Lime now has a Mercedes potentially in the way there as he was on a lap? I wonder, has that harmed his lap at all? We'll see as he comes round the final corner. It looks like Lime's coming in, and Lime not happy with that Mercedes, I don't believe. Meanwhile, TJ out there on a lap. I think he just completed one. He's gone 100th quicker than Ty Clear, and we'll try one more time to get controlling back in if he's there. Because if Controlling can't join, then we can invite the other reserve today to at least have a full grid. But as Controlling says, I'm in. I didn't actually see him join, but Controlling does say he's in. There we are. There it is on the screen. Controlling's finally in. That's good to see. As we now should have a full grid, and Controlling should have enough time to put a lap time on the board. And for those of you who are unaware, Controlling is playing from Australia. It's currently 4 a.m. for controlling. No idea why he stayed up this late for WHF. Actually, I do have an idea. This is the best league there is around. That's why controlling's up at 4 a.m. The absolute passion on display from controlling. Also, speaking of passion, the South African of Scones up to P4. As Kevin Kell says, good day, mate. But if I run you through the field, we've got Stephen Beecham, who's from the US. TJ from the UK, along with Ty Clare. Scones is South African. Crimson, Zampa, I believe Infrajack. Lime is English. D Summers is a bit. I'm unsure about D Summers' nationality. I think he's English, but has also lived in Northern Ireland as well. Ollie Bean English. Andre is Polish. Sci-Fi is another South African. Fakri's Algerian. Lanky English. Raheem, I assume, is English. Raheem's pretty new, not quite sure. Cree is Mexican, Northeast English. Controlling's Australian. Dubsy's Canadian, and Alice is English. So a mixed field, as I believe TJ did slightly improve there on his lap, got into the 9s. Kevin Kell says Scones can get a top finish, and honestly, if Scones could get a good finish here, we'd be absolutely loving it. Welcome in, Nudomatic. How's things today? And how's things for everyone else who's watching along in the YouTube and Twitch chat? Make yourselves heard, make yourselves known. As Scones now currently very slightly up on his time, but needs a couple more tenths if he does want to get ahead of Ty Clear. And Scones had an opportunity. Oh, as he's very on the grass, they're definitely going to have to come in, you would think. Scones had an opportunity in Spain to win, similarly to how Zampa had an opportunity to win in Belgium, but two mistakes, unfortunately, from both those respective drivers would ultimately cost them. Meanwhile, we're on board with LTJ Northey, the biggest Verstappen fan on the planet. Where can he go as he finds his way through the middle sector? I think Cree out on the gravel here. Not a great place to park for Cree is Raheem now coming around the final corner, but I believe he's just starting another run. Zampa, who got pole last time out, starting a run. This is one of the drivers to watch. Zampa stated that this is not one of his favourite tracks. He did state that Belgium was one of his favourite tracks, although Zampa appears to be backing off the throttle, but there's an Alpine behind him who maybe wants to get a move on. Not quite sure who the Alpine was. It was Raheem, who may have been starting a lap here. As Northey, after he improves, he goes down to P17 as Dubsy retires in the pit lane. Welcome in COD into the chat. COD, former Tier 2 Constructor Champion here in WHF, not WTF. As Controlling in the Cyber there will finally get out and start a lap. We've got Ty Clear on a flyer. I wonder, is Crimson and Zampa's on an extra out lap, as Concelis is back to back, as there's two cars on the outside of Crimson, as Crimson on a flyer here, and that would have been pretty distracting for Crimson, who's had a very good start to the season, and he's a tenth the good as Crimson. That could move him up to P4, but if he has extra time in this final sector, could he even challenge one of the drivers at the top? As Lime goes up to P2. Lime just half a tenth off Stephen Beecham. A very good qualifying there from Lime yet again here in Tier 2. As Crimson now up to the line, where can he go? Up to P4, improves by over 2 tenths. Who else is out there? Ty Clear coming up to the line, 2 tenths of the good. Where can Ty go? Ty up to P2, just shy of pole. Just a hundredth behind his teammate of Stephen Beecham. It looks like Stephen Beecham may have it in the tank again here, as we do have a couple drivers coming round the final corner, as Controlling on his only lap time gets into P16. We'll stay on board with Zampa, I believe. Although, who is that in the final sector I'm trying to find here? It is Sci-Fi, followed by the Cyber of Andre. And Sci-Fi looks to have backed out, so it'll be Andre next round. Andre, who had reserved in Tier 1 last time out. Ollie Beansman has qualified! Oh, you love to see it. Oh, you love to see it, you hate to see it. Zampa up to P6. Scones on a flyer here. We'll follow Stephen Beecham, although Stephen Beecham's backed out of his lap. We've got TJ on a flyer as he's round the final corner. Could TJ snatch a position here? As TJ charges up to the line here in the Alpine. Where can he go? Slight improvement, but not on position. Scones has backed out of his lap. Andre up to P8. Sci-Fi not improving. Factory not improving. Lanky doesn't seem to be improving. Neither is Controlling. And Northy, 3/10 of the good. And Invalidates out of the final corner, but you love to see it. Ollie, Bean and Ellis, the two brothers in arms, have both been disqualified, showing their absolute skill here in Tier 2. As Cole says, so many on the gravel, and yeah, we had so many drivers there just off every direction it seemed. But there you have it, it is a Ferrari 1-2, Stephen Beecham and Ty Clear, separated by just over 100. And Stephen Beecham on pole here in round 4, Zandvoort. Meanwhile, Lime, who won last time out in Belgium, in P3 will definitely be waiting in the wings. Has great race pace, does Lime. Could it be another win for Lime? Could it be another win for Ty Clear? Or could it be a first win for Stephen Beecham? We will have to wait and see as we load on into the race. I'll just let the drivers know when to ready up. Once we finally load in, I don't know why it's taken so long for Sci-Fi's car to clear into the box. But there you have it. A Ferrari 1-2 here in Zandvoort qualifying. And there you have it. There is your order. Stephen Beecham on pole by just over 100 ahead of Ty Clear. And next it is Lime, half a second back from Ty Clear, followed by TJ, Crimson, Zampa, Scones, Andre, Infrajack, and D Summers is your top 10. And as we load on into the race, who will get the best start here? As I hope... I've just realized that I forgot to start the app. Welcome in, Gordon. I know you were here earlier, but welcome in for this one. Let me see, can I get the app started? Hopefully it records. Who knows? Here we are. Praying that it records the results. Unfortunately, it forgot to record the qualifying, but that's not as bad. The race is more important. Hopefully it does. But anyway, welcome in all into the stream. Give me your predictions for who do you think is going to win in this one. As it's Zandvoort, I think... Dubsy in the chat says, you forgot to say Dubsy will win starting from 18th. Dub, honestly, if you ever win, I would do some inappropriate things on stream that get us banned. As Zampa... Gordon says Zampa P6 to P1 in the first corner. Again, I will do... bannable offences as always. Just letting you all know. But we will love to see it. But anyway, for those of you watching, if you've time to get a drink, now is your opportunity before we start the race here in Zandvoort. Here in round 5, Stephen Beecham leads the championship, 7 points ahead of Lime, and followed by Zampa and Ty Clear. Currently, oh, what is that? Currently, the Zampa has qualified P6. Meanwhile, everyone else inside the top 4 in the standings is inside the top 3. Crimson in the chat says no rain. Mumia96 says Lanky for the win, as someone is readied up early. Not quite sure who has. As we will have the 5 red lights on here in Zandvoort for round 4 here in Tier 2. And we're underway, and the Ferraris have got a good start. Lime doesn't have the best of starts. TJ immediately into P3, as we've got a Williams of Zampa on the inside, as there's already a ghosted car of Lime. Not quite sure what's happened here. As Lime lose out to the Alpine, and Scones looks on the inside of Zampa, battling out of the bank corners. Andre immediately into P6. Lovely move from Andre, making his way up the field. And it's been a great start here. Everyone's gotten away relatively cleanly. Haven't seen much drama here off the start. As Ollie Bean all the way up from 19th to P13 already. What a start. As Dub Z gets ahead of LTJ Northy. Raheem dropping down, and a bit of an advertising board flying there, I believe, as Controlling's got some damage here. Down in P14, the Cyber got some early damage here as Lanky gets ahead, as TJ already dropping back from the Ferraris, as Lime seems to have made a big error there on the hards. That's opened the door to Zampa. A big contact between Zampa and Lime, and Zampa trying to find a way through on Lime. But as we look here on lap 1, TJ starting the hards, Lime starting on the hards, Zampa on the mediums now, on the outside of Lime. Side by side they go down into turn 1. Can they fight it out? Zampa keeping a wheel in, battling with Lime. Side by side they go. Oh, and a big contact there between Zampa and Lime. And Lime keeps it ahead, as Andre looking for the switchback on Zampa, and almost has it there, just as a back out. Almost an out traction the Williams there, but unable to find a way through, as the Williams of Zampa trying to stay with Lime. But after that little bit of a side pod bang between him and the Aston Martin, has he got the composure to stick with the Aston Martin? He'll have DRS now. Meanwhile, the Ferraris have checked out in front. It's a Ferrari 1-2, and a comfortable Ferrari 1-2 here. They look to be favourites for the Constructors' title here, as Zampa with DRS now trying to close back onto the rear of Lime. Lime trying to close to the back of the rear of TJ, as Crimson gets through on Scones. Scones leaves the track. And what's happened, Scones? What has happened, Scones? Has he had some sort of wheel issue? Not quite sure what's happened, Scones there. But Scones, another race where he's fallen all the way to the back, as Ty Clear gets down the inside of Stephen Beecham, and the Ferrari swap here into turn 1, as Dub Z and Fakri are out. Dub Z and Fakri are out. Oh, that's a humongous smash, as it's a safety car here on lap 2. Absolutely humongous smash between Fakri and Dub Z out of the final corner. And 2 drivers out here on lap 2. Heartbreak. And a safety car out here on lap 2, which will certainly help some of the hard runners. The likes of TJ and Lime had lost DRS range to the Ferraris, and now the Ferraris are going to have to now try and build a gap again after the safety car restart, which may be a bit more tricky. But unfortunately, we've seen Fakri and Dub Z out here on lap 2. A mega smash with the wall. As I wonder will we see the likes of Andre or Controlling into the box now to come off those softs. Softs don't last a tremendous amount of time around here, and Andre, as expected, coming off the softs already here on lap 3. This safety car gives Andre an opportunity to get onto some better tyres to make it longer in the race. Ken Kelton also saves Scones. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Scones here. I think Scones has had another wheel issue. Not quite sure, but I think Ellis also had a wheel issue, so it's a shame that unfortunately on this game. So many drivers encountering many wheel issues. We've even seen Lime, who won the opener and round 3, had a big wheel issue in the second round of the season. And you never know, if Lime didn't have that wheel issue, Lime could be currently on 3 wins this season. You just don't really know how that second race would have panned out. But unfortunately for Thackeray and Dub, they are out here on lap 2. And I wonder, will the stewards see that instant? Not quite sure. I'm not even quite sure where they crashed exiting the final corner, but not even quite sure whether it was contact between both drivers, or did one driver spin and collected the other driver, and they both ended up unfortunately DNFing from the race. But this may have helped the hard runners a little bit, as the medium runners who did start to build a gap there and check out in front have now lost the gap they built. So if TJ has the pace here off this restart and is able to stay with the medium runners, this safety car will have helped them massively. In order to it would have meant the Ferrari drivers would have used up some of their mediums while trying to escape, and now they may not have the same pace that we've seen off the start. But here, can Ty Claire and Stephen Beecham get a good restart and resume the Ferrari 1-2 that they had going? Stephen trying to get his first win this season, as Ty trying to get his second win this season, but Stephen Beecham leads the championship with 3 consecutive podiums. Can Stephen finally get a win here? Or will we even see the likes of TJ on the top step of the podium, or even Zampa, Crimson, or any other driver? Lime currently has the most wins this season. Could be one of the favourites to watch as well. But the safety car, I would imagine, should be in this lap or next lap. The safety car will be in this lap, so Ty Clear going to want to slow up the pack to try and get this restart started. Cavigal, I think it's still pretty... everyone's still pretty the same. Everyone on the mediums is going to have to box for hards. Everyone on the hards is going to have to box for mediums. So I think it's pretty much a one-stop for everyone here. I think you will see a two-stop because there's a lot of drivers will be struggling with the tyres. But I do think the one-stop is the quicker strategy in this game. As Ty now going to wait to go, and he's gone now as he tries to lead Stephen Beecham out of the final corner. But can they build a gap to the cars behind as TJ and Lime try and build some temp in their tyres to not let the medium runners of the Ferraris check off into the distance like they did at the start of the race? And we'll keep an eye on TJ. Does he have the pace to stay with the Ferraris? As he did try and warm his tyres there down the main straight, as he tries to stay now with Stephen Beecham. As we've got a car losing a couple of positions here. Ollie Bean battling with D. Summers. In for Jack involved as well. Sci-Fi Mega Hype almost into the rear. D. Summers, risky place to be going for a move there. Sci-Fi on a flyer here. Meanwhile, TJ may have already lost DRS range from the medium runners. The medium runners just seem to have too much pace for TJ. And he doesn't have DRS here to help him just yet. Can the Ferraris escape through the final sector and drop the Alpine? This is very smart play from the Ferraris, as they're trying to work together here to leave the hard runners in the dust, and that will certainly help them a lot in this race. But it's so marginal here as we start lap 7. The Ferraris seem to have checked out. Oh no, it's a big error there from Ty Clear. Ty into the wall. Did he collect Stephen? I think Stephen has just about avoided damage here, but Ty into the wall and Ty with damage. And that has cost the Ferraris massively. Big mistake there from Ty out of the final corner, as Ollie Bean and Sci-Fi Mega Hype battling here along with Lanky and Raheem. Raheem gets out of Lanky, but Ty may have cost himself massively there with damage. A lot of that front left of his front wing is missing. And now can TJ stay with Stephen Beecham as Lime gets through on Ty Clear. Risky enough move. Do the drivers know that Ty's got some severe damage here as Ty off the road? Crimson down the inside now. We've also got Infrajack following him through as well. And Ty may have to box here, considering how severe that damage is. Everyone getting through on Ty as Infrajack goes side by side with Crimson now. Down the back straight. And Infrajack round the outside of Crimson. Lovely move there as his car bounces his way through the corner. And Ty may have to come in now for some hard tyres and a new front wing as Crimson follows along Infrajack. But now Lime has lost the gap to the cars ahead as TJ now on the hard tyres follows Stephen Beecham along. If anyone inside this top two wins, it'll be their first win of the season. Let's see how this unfolds as Crimson got back ahead of Infrajack. And D Summers also looking on the rear of this battle. But Tyclair is in for some fresh mediums along with the new front wing. You would think. Let's double check he's got his front wing. He has. That's good to see. But Ty again making a mistake when leading the race. Unfortunately, it's becoming too much of a reoccurrence for Ty. At this point, just keeps making a lot of mistakes. As Ollie Bean off the track there opens the door to Sci-Fi Mega Hype. And Raheem now on the rear of Ollie Bean as well. May put some pressure on the Mercedes. And TJ still inside DRS range from Stephen Beecham, and this is important for the race. If TJ can hold on for as long as possible, Stephen's mediums will surely fall off. After long enough, TJ is in a great spot here. Meanwhile, Zampa closing on Lime. Lime moves very late towards the braking zone. Very questionable defending there from Lime. And we'll see if the stewards have a look at that one. That was very late, right before the braking zone. We'll have to see. As Crimson now all over the rear of Zampa as we head out of the bank turn. Zampa under pressure from the McLaren behind, who's on these hard tyres. But a lot of mixed tyres here as Lime continues to fall back here from TJ and Stephen Beecham. TJ still desperately trying to hold on to the rear of Stephen. The DRS is helping massively for the Alpine as Zampa also trying to hold on to the rear of Lime. Is Zampa's mediums now starting to struggle as Sci-Fi has made a mistake and off into the gravel, and Sci-Fi dropping down the order down to P15. As LTJ Northey with a very late sand. What a demonic sand from Northey. And what a... Oh my god, it's a bit of swear. Apologies for the implied swear. That was a sand from Narnia. And Northey made it work as Zampa gets ahead. And oh no! That's Creakery around to the final corner. Big smash into the wall. As Zampa... Oh no! Zampa's around after contact with Lime! Oh no! What's happened here? Zampa around, big contact with Lime. And it's a VSC. And Lime with a humongous part of his front wing missing. What has happened there? We've seen Creakery go round at the final corner. And as we jump back to Creakery, we missed Lime and Zampa having a major coming together. I think Zampa's escaped without damage. But Lime, major damage on the front wing of this Aston. And the VSC may play a massive factor in this race. As will Stephen Beecham use this VSC to go onto the hards. It would be a bit of a stint. But can he do it? We will see. But also, for any drivers listening, make sure you stay under the Delta. Make sure you do not pick up any drive-through penalties, as they will ruin your race. As Lime gonna have to come in for a new front wing. We'll see, does Stephen want to come in? No, Stephen gonna stay out here. As we'll definitely see Lime in. Will we see Zampa come in? I'm not quite sure. As Creakery's got a drive through, and so is Raheem. Raheem, oh, almost a massive brake check there. Oh, as he does cause contact with Controlling. Controlling probably was not the right move to go for, as Scones on the rear of Andre. And this has been a very surprising race. Meanwhile, the VSC has helped out Stephen Beecham massively, because he's now pulled a gap now to TJ. And this race has been absolutely shocking. Cree picks up a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty as he goes to serve his drive-through. Raheem out now, but a couple just unnecessary mistakes here in this one. I'm sure the steward's going to be busy after this one. He's controlling, losing the rear, trying to stay with Scones and Andre. A reminder, Andre's got some damage here that Scones is going to try and exploit and get ahead of, as Lanky up in P8 having a good race today. Lanky's not had the best of seasons, really struggled in qualifying this season, but now up in P8 can see his teammate ahead of him of Ollie Bean as he looks to defend from the Sauber behind as well. And Andre, that DRS is helping him because Scones wants to get ahead of the Sauber but can't find an opening. And now Stephen Beecham starts to build an even bigger gap to TJ as that VSC helped them massively on the restart. And TJ starting to lose time despite Stephen being on the mediums. It seems he still has good tyre wear as... Oh, what is happening here? I think Ellis gets out of Sci-Fi Mega Hype in that kerfuffle there. But Scones still following along Andre. Andre following along the lanky one. But does Andre have the front end on that Sauber to get it round the final corner and use some DRS? We will see. As there's, I believe that might have been just Lime overtaking Raheem there. And Lime, as Andre now down the inside of the lanky one. Side by side they go through turn one. And Mercedes still around the outside here. We've seen a big coming together between Zampa and Lime early in the race, although we only caught really the tail end of it. We'll have to see what the stewards say. As Scones now on the rear of Lanky. But the lanky one, as Infradrag is the first driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty in this race. But Infradrag having his best race so far up in P4, having a very good outing here. And Infradrag could be within a very good position here. Scones looking for the switchback on Lanky. Lanky went very defensive. And Scones trying to find the traction as he battles along with the Mercedes. But the Mercedes of Lanky going to keep it ahead of Scones in the Aston Martin, who's pressurising Lanky through every single turn. Meanwhile, TJ slowly coming back towards Stephen Beecham. Lanky seems to have lost DRS from Scones here. Lanky probably going too defensive against the Aston. He's losing himself a heap of time. And now Scones with DRS and ERS. Can he get ahead of the Mercedes? They both got DRS here. It's a drag race as Zampa comes in now off the mediums. Can Scones get down the inside of Lanky? Side by side they go. Scones searching for the traction as they're still side by side. Absolutely ferocious battle here between Scones and Lanky, but Lanky keeps it ahead. But they still using some DRS off Andre ahead. Andre still dealing with that damage on the front wing. As D. Sommers trying to stay with Infradrag. As Zampa did come in for the hard tyres. Zampa has exited in a pretty good place. He's just behind Ty Clear. And he's on much better tyres than the drivers ahead of him. But he'd be worried about catching the drivers of Northy, Sci-Fi and Ledgeman. They're all yet to box here and may struggle for some pace. Ty Clear's already found the rear of the Red Bull of Northy. And can Ty get ahead of the Red Bull? We will certainly see. As D. Summers comes in now off the mediums. Probably on hards the end, similar to his teammate Zampa. As Ollie Bean going for the same strategy. As Ollie Bean picks up a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty, which is not going to help his race at all here. As Ty Clear now with DRS on Northy, going to get comfortably ahead of the Red Bull. And Ty now up in the P13, but a reminder, Ty will probably have to box again in this one, as Zampa looks to catch the Red Bull of Northey as well here. As TJ slowly making his way back up to the rear of Stephen Beecham. And may have DRS soon. A reminder, these two on a reverse strategy. As Ellis battling with Sci-Fi Mega Hype through. Oh, big mistake there from Sci-Fi Mega Hype. As D Summer's going to try and get round the gap. Side by side, they go a bit of a wheel bang. As Ty watching these two go side by side. Oh, just about make it through the middle sector here as D Summers battling with the V-Carb. Oh, and a big tag of the rear as Ty leaves the track now. There's cars absolutely everywhere. D Summers still battling with Sci-Fi. As Sci-Fi still trying to fight this one out, and contact, and both of them leave the track. And D Summers now probably frustrated with that move from the V-Carb. The V-Carb probably fighting too hard in that one, and maybe should have backed out. As Sci-Fi now into the box, and we'll see what happens as time progresses. Lime now can see the rear of Zampa as Scones battling with the lanky one through the middle sector, but unable to get ahead is the Aston Martin driver. As Lime trying to get back ahead of Zampa now, despite Zampa being on the better strategy here, the hards to the end. Meanwhile, Lime will certainly have to box again here. He'll not be able to make those mediums to go to the end, but even though he won't be able to get the mediums to go to the end, he may be able to put some pressure on Zampa. As Northey around exiting sector 1 has some damage, does the Red Bull. And Northey, unfortunately, may have to box now. Stephen Beecham comes off those mediums on the hards to the end. Could this be the race where Stephen Beecham picks up his first win of the season as Lime looking on the rear of Zampa? Side by side they go. Oh, and Lime almost into the rear of Zampa now. Meanwhile, Ty has caught the rear of Ledgeman. Ledgeman yet to box in this race. And if I were Ledgeman, I'd not box for like another 6 laps. So Ledgeman is still on his strategy as Ty Clear now going to come through on the outside. Zampa going to try and get through on the Haas driver as well if he can. Going to try and send it around the outside of Ledgeman. And can Zampa find his way around the outside? Unable to get through. Now all over the rear of the Haas driver. And Lime going to try and find his way through as well, as Zampa now heads up the hill. Struggling for traction is Zampa, but make it through. Lime! Oh, Lime watching Ledgeman and Zampa go side by side through the middle sector. So risky as Zampa gets round the outside. Ledgeman desperately trying to hold on to the car. And Lime now searching for way through. Yes, Kevin, Ledgeman should just go a bit longer on the hards to go to the mediums. From, I'd say, lap 21 onwards as Lime gets the switch back on Ledgeman. As D Summers looks on the rear of Ledgeman as well. And Lime will have DRS now on Zampa. And Zampa does not have DRS from Ty Clear. D Summers on the outside of Ledgeman trying to get through on the Haas driver. And Lime, can he catch? Meanwhile, Scones also battling as Stephen Beecham also has been involved in this battle. Contact, no, does Stephen have damage? I think he's just avoided damage, but into the rear of Lanky he went. And Lanky now off the track, not quite sure what happened there. But Stephen into the rear of Lanky one, and they've all survived, thankfully. As Lime now on the rear of Zampa. Side by side they go through the middle sector. Risky move. Don't come together, lads, please. And Zampa just about... Oh, and Zampa's... Oh, Lime's clipped off his front wing after going into the rear of Zampa. And these two have been battling maybe over the limit here in this one. And Lime frustrated with yet again some more damage. If I were Lime, I would box now for another set of tyres to the end and get some more... Get another front wing on that car. As Stephen Beecham now gonna head after Scones. Scones is gonna have to do another pit stop in this race. As Stephen Beecham now up into P5. We've also got the likes of Lime back on the rear of Zampa. And after contact with the Williams, will this battle continue on ferociously? Despite Lime's damage, still holding onto the rear of the Williams of Zampa. But these two have been battering throughout the entire race here. We'll have to see what the stewards say about some of their incidents. We'll have to see who's at fault. Can't say any of the incidents have been quite obvious. We'll have to see the drivers on board, I'm sure, to find out who's at fault for their comings togethers. But Lime now may have lost DRS from Zampa. Zampa's probably lost a lot of time battling with Lime as Zampa made a big error, which has allowed Lime back into DRS here again. And Lime all over the rear of Zampa again. Zampa going defensive to the inside as Lime tries to find a way through on the Williams. The Williams has a big squirrely snap of the rear. And Lime now with DRS can get back ahead of the Williams as he goes to the inside. And Lime gets through on the Williams driver. And Zampa seems to be overheating his hards a little bit. Because he should be going to the end of these hards, but you can see the rear of Zampa's car seems to be snapping through every corner. As D. Somers now joining this battle. And D. Somers with the lap fresher hards than his teammate. And these two are going to have to get through Lime as quickly as possible because Lime is probably on the better tyres at this stage but does have wing damage, so that will have to come into play as Ollie Bean now exiting behind Ledgeman. Ledgeman on much older hards here. As TJ finally comes in for some mediums. Can TJ catch Stephen Beecham? We'll have to keep an eye. Stephen Beecham now currently sitting P4 as Northey picks up a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. And Ollie Bean and Ledgeman battling here as Ollie Bean's just put his brother in the wall. That is an interesting one. Stewards are definitely going to have a look at that one. Oh my lord! Zampa, what was he doing? Zampa tried to get the toe off Lime entering the pit lane, and because Lime was slowing down, Zampa almost ended his race into the rear of the Aston Martin there. That was shocking. As LTJ Northey picks up another 10-second penalty crossing the white line on pit exit. And TJ has exited ahead of Stephen Beecham. What? The traffic for Stephen has been massive. TJ's actually exited ahead of Stephen Beecham. TJ could have his first win in WHF here. He's just going to continue building the gap to Stephen. And TJ could be in with a win here in the Alpine. Absolutely sensational scenes. It's looking like, as things stand currently, that Stephen could end up with another P2 this season. And we'll have another new winner here. Meanwhile, Scones up into P4. This is a good position for Scones. Not far off Stephen Beecham, but Scones will have to box again here. But where does Scones exit after he comes in again? For mediums, we will see as D. Somers gets ahead of Zampa. As the Williams battle down into turn one. Oh! Almost a big coming together between the Williams there. Zampa gets back ahead of D. Somers. As these two battle through sector one. And now the Williams seem to be coming together. You don't want to be battling too hard. Whoever is quickest between you lads, that is the driver who should be leading here because a podium is on for the Williams pair, but they need to not be tripping over each other, which they seem to be doing currently. Kevin, I honestly think TJ can make it to the end here comfortably. The only thing I'm worried about for TJ is if TJ picks up a time penalty or a... as Crimson comes in for softs, that's the wrong move. Those softs will not make it to the end. There's a yellow flag around. Is that Northey letting people through? I believe it is, yeah. Yeah, as we were mentioning... Oh, big snap of the rear from D. Somers. They're almost lost it out of the final corner. as he tries to get back ahead of Zampa, but eases off the throttle. And these two lads are just tripping over each other. They're trying to get a podium here, but doesn't seem to be working. But Crimson, important to note, on the softs, and is probably in your net P3. Does he have the pace to catch Stephen Beecham or TJ as Lime picks up a 3-second time penalty here? As D. Somers on the rear of Zampa. And surely team orders got to come into play here. Someone call for team orders as Lime around to the final corner, and Lime, oh, his front wing's gone, and Lime into the box now. And that is heartbreak for Lime. He's not had an ideal race at all here. Big coming together with Zampa, I think twice in this race, and now he's come together with the wall all on his own. And now Lime is back on to 10-lap old hards to the end of this race. That'll be a stint to do on the hards. I think they will make it to the end, but preferably would not be on those tyres. Meanwhile, Zampa and D. Somers here. Oh, Zampa's a big wobble on the rear. Dear Lord, the Williams pair are absolutely dying on these hards. There's still 12 laps to go, lads. As D. Somers now going to overtake Zampa, surely the team orders have got to come into play, and Zampa's got to let D. Somers try and use the clean air on those fresher hards. I know it's only a lap of fresher hards, but both these drivers have been struggling here. They've got to try and work together to catch the drivers ahead. Crimson now on the rear of Scones. Crimson may charge after Stephen Beecham. Will he have the tyres to make it to the end? Not quite sure. But Crimson is definitely going to want to make these softs last to the end if he can, because otherwise he'll hand the podium to one of the Williams pair of D. Somers and Zampa. Meanwhile, also important to note, Ollie Bean having a terrific race out there, battling with Infrajack as well. Infrajack on much better mediums though. Can Infrajack find a way past Ollie Bean as well? And Infrajack now down on the inside of turn 11, gets ahead, and Ollie Bean going to try and fight his way back through on the Red Bull as Crimson gets ahead of Scones down into turn 1. And Crimson now has 7 seconds to get caught up to Stephen Beecham. Does he have the pace? We will see. Does Stephen have the pace to catch up to TJ again? We will also see. TJ on the better tyres though, and TJ may be on for a win here, and I think TJ is the favourite at this current point. Whatever's happened, Stephen Beecham in that traffic, he tried to undercut TJ, but really surprisingly got overcut by TJ. We did see Stephen struggle with some traffic, but I did not expect the undercut to not work there. As Creed comes off the mediums. Kevin says Stephen has to hope TJ doesn't catch the back markers and get DRS. I honestly think he's just going to hope TJ makes some mistakes, gets penalties, has a spin or something, because if I'm Stephen, I'm more worried about Crimson at this stage. Stephen's tyres will easily go to the end, but I don't know if he has the pace to catch TJ. I think TJ may have this one in the bag as D. Somers gets back ahead of Zampa around the final corner and will have DRS as well. And I must say, I don't really know what the Williams pair are doing, to be honest. They're kind of working together, but they're tripping over each other while trying to be kind. I don't know. They're both in a party, so we'll have to see what they say after the race, but it has been a strange one. Meanwhile, Scones yet to box here. I think he might try the softs as Ty Clear battles with Andre. And Ty Clear up into P10. Ty, unfortunately, led the race at a point in this race, but found the wall at the final corner, and Ty Clear another race where he could have won. Unfortunately, it's been thrown away. But still some good points we could be on for Ty. But a safety car could change things here, as Zampa seems to have lost DRS from D. Somers now. I'm going to have a look at the settings. Where's the safety car? Safety car is on reduced as always, but the safety car, for whatever reason, just doesn't come out, and Lime's retired in the pit lane, and Lime is calling it a day. Unfortunately, this has not been the race for Lime. And unfortunately, P2 in the championship, maybe P2 no longer in this one. As the Lanky one now has his teammate of Ollie Bean ahead. And can Lanky get ahead of Ollie Bean? If you're listening, let your teammate through. He's on better tyres and also doesn't have a penalty. He can also catch Infrajack as well. So, team orders, please, if you're listening. That is what I'd be saying to the Mercedes pair. But we'll see whether Ollie Bean decides to adhere to the team orders. We will see. As Ollie Bean sees Infrajack leave the track ahead of him, so I think Ollie Bean will not listen to team orders. Instead, he will smell the blood in the water. I can see Infrajack just ahead in touching distance. As Ollie Bean off onto the curb here. And now he lets through Infrajack in a strange place to do it. And now lets through Lanky, excuse me, in a strange place to do it. And now he could be at risk from Ty Clear. I did say team orders, but I didn't say absolutely sacrifice your race entirely in a strange place to let him through. Now he's vulnerable to Ty Clear. Ollie Bean probably let him through at the wrong spot. Could have let him through into turn 1 or at a very any DRS zone, but now he's got Ty on the rear. And he's helped Lanky's race here, but may have harmed his own race by letting him through there. Before the final corner, as Raheem gets ahead of Sci-Fi Mega Hype down into turn 1. And Raheem on for a P13, which would be his best result here in WHF so far. And it would be some decent points. A reminder, everyone inside the top 16 will score points here. So still some good points available, as Northy, I believe, getting in the way of everyone. As he has parked the car to let through all of the cars ahead. You love to see it. You know, most drivers would not adhere to blue flags, but lovely to see Northy, one of the rare few who actually does listen to the blue flags, to let through people as Lanky gets ahead of Infrajack. We've got Ty Clear ahead of Ollie Bean as well. And Lanky now into P7 and could head after Zampa. And there's even an outside chance at a podium here for Lanky. Meanwhile, Scones, who is doing a biblical stint on these hard tyres, doesn't seem to be coming in. And if he can make the hards last to the end, then I would. I mean, if he's not in puncture territory, then stay out. There's still another 7 seconds to D. Summers. And Scones could be in for a very good result. But I do think he's very much in puncture range. I would go for the softs if he's at any way in risk here. Meanwhile, Lanky now on the rear of Zampa. And Zampa does not have the rear of D. Summers to hold on to any longer. And Lanky now and Infrajack heading after Zampa, and they may get through down into turn 1 if they can maximise their exit out of the final corner. The DRS may help here, as Ledgeman appeared to have some sort of issue that brought out the yellow flags, but we've got green flags going again. And we've got Lanky now on the rear of Zampa. Can Lanky start to catch the Williams? As Lanky on the rear of Zampa. Zampa going defensive to the inside, but Lanky round the outside. Breaks later than the Williams and gets on through, as Infrajack looking for a way through as well here. And Ollie Bean coming in off the hards. Another 10-second time penalty for Ollie Bean, not going to help his race at all here. As Zampa now under some pressure from Infrajack. On a big tap of the side pod there from the Red Bull and the Williams. And a yellow flag around, not quite sure who that is for. As a late send from Infrajack in the middle sector. Very risky move to be going for there. And he's opened the door to Ty Clear, and Ty Clear's going to walk right through it. Ty on the inside of the Red Bull, and side by side they go battling through the middle sector, and Infrajack going to keep ahead of Ty. And Infrajack completely missed his braking point, and Ty may get through now on Infrajack. And Ty keeping it composed, and that just shows you, as he was battling with Infrajack, Infrajack missed his braking point, and Ty now up into P8 as he heads after Zampa. Zampa has the rear of Lanky One in his sights, and Lanky One could get up to P5 and even P4, considering Scones out really long in those hards. D Summers has caught around a second since we've last mentioned Scones here. How long can Scones make those hards go? We will see. As Ty on the rear of Zampa. And Ty, who has 6 laps fresh at hards, can he find a way through? On the Williams, and Zampa's left the track, off into the wall, and damage for the Williams of Zampa. And it has just not been the ideal race for Zampa now. He may start to fall back further and further, with Infrajack and Andre closing to the rear of that Williams. And Zampa not had an ideal outing. It's a big mistake there from D Summers. May open the door to Lanky. And Lanky could be in for the best result of the season for the Mercedes. Now we'll have DRS and D Summers. And there's a 5-second gap to try and catch the Scones, if he can find his way past D Summers. As they charge down into turn 1, the Mercedes may look on the inside of D Summers. And Lanky now down the inside. Gets into P5. Lovely move from Lanky as D Summers tries to switch back, but can't find the traction. And Lanky now up to P5. Can he catch Scones before the end of this one? On the 18 laps fresher mediums, a hilariously long stint Scones is doing. We hope he can make it to the end here, because it's such a risk going this long on the hards. But if he does it, what a stint it'll be, as D Summers now on the rear, as Ollie Bean gets ahead of Raheem. They've also got Andre on the rear of Zampa. Zampa's made a mistake there, and with his damage may just have to let through Andre. Andre into P9 and on for his best result here in WHF, as he's currently inside the penalty threshold of Infrajack. P8 would be a career high here in WHF for Andre. As D Summers following along Lanky. Lanky doesn't seem to have caught Scones anymore. Scones, please manage those hards to the end. We would absolutely love to see it. I bet Scones is sweating absolute buckets in this one. As D Summers looks to catch the rear of the Mercedes, but not close enough down into turn 1. Also, Ty Clare's joined this battle on the much better hards here. Can Ty get up into P5 or even challenge for a P4 as well, as these drivers look all to catch Scones as we continue on? Meanwhile, here on lap 33, important to note, TJ still leads the race. 4.6 seconds over Stephen Beecham as Zampa comes in for soft tyres. May go for the fastest lap here, but he'll probably lose positions to Controlling and the like. Probably loses more positions by doing that, but we will see. But Ollie Bean gets out of Zampa now. Zampa going to have to try and get ahead of Ollie Bean, while he also tries to battle for the fastest lap here as well. As Ty Clear following D Summers, and we've caught another second to Scones. Scones is not that far away, 3 seconds, and they can see the Aston Martin in the distance, as the Aston Martin still trying to manage these tyres here until the very end of the race. This is one of the greatest stints I've ever seen in all of F1 sim racing. 30 laps in the hards as we start lap 34. As D Summers now going to pick the outside of Lanky, trying to find his way through. Ty Clear on the rear of this battle as well, as Andre gets through on Infrajack, and Andre into P8. Andre having a spectacular performance here in Tier 2. As Kevin says, Stephen catching. Still needs to catch 3.5. 3 laps to go. Can Stephen catch by enough on the rear of TJ? Will TJ have his first win in WHF? Anyone, honestly, anyone inside the top 6, I think it'd be their first win. As Ty Clear now on the inside of D Summers, looks on the inside. D Summers leaves the space. Ty with a little bit of grass on his tyres, looking for a way through on the Williams, looks for the switchback as they head out of turn 10, and it's now a drag race down to the braking zone of turn 11, but D Summers is going to keep ahead, as Scones now, unfortunately, has tried to defend as long as possible now, but Lanky can see him in his sights. 1.1 is the gap, and Ty still on the rear of D Summers, all over the rear of the Williams, and Ty now down the inside of the Williams driver, and Ty up into P6, as Ty now going to head after Lanky. And Lanky and Ty may fight over who can get ahead of Scones first here. As we're on the penultimate lap, Scones in P4 on lap 31, Old Hards. Lap 31. Oh my lord, that is ridiculous. He's almost did the entire race on Hards. As Lanky now inside DRS range from Scones, Ty Clear all over the rear of the Lanky one. Can Lanky hold on to his mediums here? Surely he's having more fun than Scones is out there. And Scones desperately trying to protect his Hards as we are about to start the final lap of the race. But will Scones be a sitting duck here? As Lanky now down the inside, yellow flag out for a Mercedes. I believe that's Ollie Bean. As Lanky still trying to find a way past Scones here. And Scones, if he's smart, will use his battery out of the final corner to try and stay ahead. But he may be a sitting duck here. For both Ty and Lanky. As Lanky doesn't get the best exit, Scones going to try and still defend. Down the main straight we go. Lanky, he's going to pick the inside. As Ty Clear's going to try and follow him through. On the inside of Scones. Ty Clear down the inside. Scones around the outside. Into the rear of the Mercedes he goes. As Dave Summers going to try and get through, and Scones here as well. But unable to find a way through. Meanwhile, Stephen Beecham catching TJ massively here. As Stephen Beecham now 2.2 behind TJ, but TJ is so far down the road. I think TJ may have done it here in the Alpine. As Ty Clear all over the rear of the Lanky one. Is he close enough to get ahead? I'm not quite sure. But as we go on board with the Alpine, here TJ in the Alpine recently was a reserve, finally was awarded a seat now, and as he rides the final corner, TJ will win in Netherlands ahead of Stephen Beecham. What a win it is for TJ, his first win in WHF. Meanwhile, Crimson will surely finish on the podium as Lanky and Ty Clear battle over P4. Scones, who's done 32 laps on the Hards, battling over these positions as well. Crimson crosses the line into P3. Lanky trying to defend from Ty Clear as Ty Clear tries to chase him to the line. It's a drag race to the line, and Lanky's gonna do it. And Scones with one of the greatest drives you'll ever see. 33 laps on the hard tyres. Absolutely ridiculous. What? Cree with another 10-second time penalty would make him finish behind Sci-Fi, Ledgeman and Ollie Bean, who've all been lapped. Meanwhile, Zampa will try and pick up the fastest lap here as he finishes P11. And I'm not quite sure whether Zampa did get that result. Meanwhile, Lanky with a season best P4. Brilliant drive there from Lanky to get that season best P4. Finishes ahead of Ty Clear. As we're going to have to allow that comment from Halo. Twitch didn't like it, but what a... I'm going to swear as well, Halo, to be honest. That stint from Scones was unbelievable, but the man of the hour is the Alpine driver of TJ. Picks up his first victory here in WHF. What a victory it is for TJ. Meanwhile, it's another P2 for Stephen Beecham, who extends his championship lead over the rest of the field. And there you have it. Fastest lap goes to Ollie Bean. Driver of the day is Lanky. Deservingly so. Most of go to Andre, and your race winner will be TJ. And we'll try and get all the results in to help out the stewards. Hopefully our new result system should mean that this is a bit null and void, as Ollie Bean does pick up the fastest lap. But we'll make sure we get the race director in. Thankfully not too much because of... because it's Zandvoort, so a bit difficult to get track limits. But anyway, we will head into the driver interviews. We'll start with Lime, who unfortunately retired from that race. Lime, how'd that race go for you?
Awful. Qualifying, I didn't even think I was there until I changed my fuel and somehow got within a tenth of Stephen. So I was happy with that. But then come the race, Ledgeman's wheel bogged up and readied up 2 minutes early, so I wasn't ready. Didn't have my strategy or anything, so I was starting on hards, and they were absolutely god awful. No grip, nothing. And then when I changed after me and Zampa came together, changed onto the mediums, I was a lot better. Which kind of made me feel more shit, because if I was to start on mediums, I could have been battling with the Ferraris, but no, that didn't happen. And then it was just, and then I think I changed after the first set of mediums I changed onto, changed again, and then I got absolutely diabolically smacked off the track by Krikri. And I was like, what on earth? I'm being brutally murdered by this man. And then I think at one point I literally just got on the curb at one point, rode a curb, and then smack into a wall. And I was like, right, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm absolutely god awful. So, wasn't a good race at all for me. But hopefully, looking at the calendar, the next few races will be better, and I can somewhat crawl my way back. So, we'll see.
Yep, unfortunate race there, and it just didn't seem to go your way at all. Hopefully, we wish for the next round things go better. But we'll move on to our podium drivers before we interview the rest of the drivers. We'll start with Crimson. For the main reason, man needs to get to bed pretty soon because it's probably like 5:30 in the morning or something. Crimson, how'd that race go for you?
It started off pretty bad. I bogged down on the start. Ended up dropping from P5 all the way down to P9. And so I kind of was just letting everybody just do what they were doing and kind of take each other out because that's really what was happening. I was behind Zampa and whoever that was in that big crash. But the was supposed to be on the mediums, but the readying up early from someone, I was still in the middle of processing my like race strategy, and I guess it didn't switch over to it, and so I pitted, and it was soft, and I was literally yelling.
But regardless, with all the carnage, you still ended up getting a P3, which I think is your joint best result of the season, Crimson, isn't it?
Yep, because I got a P3 on debut for Spain.
Also, I wanna apologize for confusing you with Controlling, who is the Australian driver.
You're good.
I just seen it start with a C, and I was like, wait, Crimson's a different guy. I forgot that. But regardless, great race, Crimson. And we'll move on to P2, Stephen Beecham. It's another P2 this season, maybe a bit frustrating, but Stephen, how'd that race go for you?
The race went really well. I mean, it is a little bit frustrating. I think I might be allergic to P1, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you're P1 in the standings, so at the end of the day, that's all that counts.
True. No, but I do want to say congratulations to the guy that got first place. That he was pretty fast. If I had a few more laps, I think I might have caught him on the hards. But no, all in all, it was a good race. We actually had a safety car. That was interesting. That kind of messed up Ferrari's race totally. I'm glad to see that Ty Clear was able to come back from that accident in the beginning, so that's good. But all around, fun race, no complaints. We'll just keep on moving. These tracks that I'm getting P2 at are the tracks that I'm not even really the best at, so I'm hoping that going forward, we can actually get that P1, so we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully so, but again, you extend your championship lead over the rest of the field, despite not winning yet again. Honestly, you could do the entire season, win the championship, and have never won a race, which I'm sure you'll be happy enough with.
Yeah, that would still be fine. I mean, the ultimate goal is to win the drivers' championship, so that would be great. But even at the end of the day, I still want to feel that P1 feeling. So we'll see what's to come.
Yeah, and hopefully as we head to Mexico next time out, it could be finally the race where you do end up winning. But we'll move on to the man of the hour, TJ. What a race, TJ. How'd that race go for you?
Mute TJ. Unmute TJ.
Hello.
TJ.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Perfect. Very unexpected. P1, like it's an amazing feeling, but I did not expect it. The Ferraris, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get past him. So I thought maybe just stick in the DRS at the least and just clutch on for P2. But when I saw I was catching on the hards, I was like, you know what, maybe. And I see him pit, I was like, I'll see how far he is behind. And I saw him make the mistake or something happened, and I was like, okay. And then I pitted, I think, 2 laps after that, and I came out in the lead. I was like, oh, it was very unexpected. And I just tried to gain my lead further and further at the start of the medium stint. And I was like, maybe he'll catch me at the end, but I wasn't sure. But we held on, so P1.
And at the end, whenever he was starting to come towards you, were you starting to sweat?
A little bit, definitely. Definitely. I was like, I think it was 5 seconds I saw I got the gap up to at the most. I was like, 5 seconds. I think I got to lap 32, and it was 4 seconds. I was like, he'd need to catch me a second a lap. So I can just be a bit chill and just coast to the finish line.
And you've got your first win here in WHF. How does that feel?
Amazing, amazing. I was hoping for just like a podium this race, if I'm honest. I was like, maybe a podium. I did not expect the win, but it's definitely an amazing feeling.
Well, congratulations, TJ, and what a win it was. That is our 3rd winner of the season. Is it 3rd? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's third winner of the season. And did it in surprisingly fashion, because I thought Stevens definitely undercut him. We did see him dealing with some traffic, but I didn't realise it was going to have as big an impact as it did. And as you exit the box, we seen you were already in the lead, and we're like, oh, this is surprising.
Yeah, honestly, I think if he didn't have the little coming together with, I don't know who it was, I don't know if it was a Mercedes or someone, I was like, okay, that's going to extend the gap a bit more. I think I'll come out ahead. So I think I pitted the next lap. And yeah, just carried on out in the lead.
Yeah, and well, that strategy worked for you perfectly. And you've picked up the win here in round 4. Congratulations, TJ. As we'll move on to the next driver in the order, Lanky, who picked up a season best P4 in a driver of the day fashion. Lanky, how'd that race go for you?
Better than I expected. Like, the track isn't a favoured one of mine, to put one way, but no, after the qualifying, obviously I had that little moment with Ollie's AI, not his fault, but you know, it happens, which binned my last qualifying run, so I just had to sort of see what I could do from there on race strategy. And the hards were all right, but it was the mediums that surprised me most on that final stint. Like, I was getting obviously the wear, but they just didn't feel like they lost much grip until they hit like the 60% on the front left, which was the highest wear tire. But they just held on to the grip until the last sort of 3 laps, so that sort of helped with the charge forwards. Because I thought after 6 or 7 laps they would start dying off because the hards weren't too great. But no, the mediums definitely played the part, I think, on me capitalising what I did.
And you had to battle through scones there at the end, and you had Ty clear all over your rear. How was that last couple of laps?
The last lap, I can't. Yeah, it was sort of a blur trying to think of it. I just knew I had to defend Ty at the end of the penultimate lap under the DRS, and then it was hard for him to make a move for the remainder of the lap then until we obviously got to that final run down to the straight, and it was just a matter of saving as much battery as I could, which was just enough because I think it was like 0.079 between us on the line at the end then, so he almost got me.
Well, Ty unable to get ahead, and there you have it, Lanky with his best. Where did you actually start, Lanky?
I'm not sure. I've got 14th in my head. I'll have to double check.
But yeah, I remember watching you the entire way through and I was thinking this is an absolute sensational drive, and in the end you were able to get up to P4.
Myself.
But great job, Lanky. We'll move on to D Summers. D Summers, how'd that race go for you?
Quali didn't quite go as planned. I was 3 tenths up on my final run, and then I got to the final corner and lost all of my time. But yeah, started P10. Just did what I can to stay safe in the Fustercluck that was lap 1. I got half spun in turn 3 on lap 1. I think it was Sci-Fi behind me, ran into the back of me in braking. But yeah, me and Zampa were in call. We were just egging each other on, and it basically kept to our discussed strategy before the race. Unfortunately for Zampa, he had an incident with Lime, and then he had another incident later on where he just lost the rear of the car and couldn't keep DRS to me. So yeah, I'm happy with moving up 3 positions. It's better than the last 2 races I've done. So yeah, I'm just happy with points, to be fair.
Yeah, and it was a P6 in the end, wasn't it?
P7.
Oh, P7. Well, still decent, and still some decent points for Williams. I'm pretty sure Williams should be P2 in the Constructors, if I'm not mistaken.
We were from last week, I believe, and I think we have continued that this week. Because
I'm DNF.
I think that me and Zampa are probably, apart from the Ferraris, are the only ones who have got consistently points finishes, both drivers, this season. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we are still second in the in the Constructors.
Well, nonetheless, a good result for Williams there. Unfortunately, a better result seemed to be in the cards, but just a couple of mistakes from Zampa throughout the race. Some not his fault, some may have been his fault, but unfortunately, Williams will have to go again in the next round. Now we're going to move on to the man I want to interrogate by the name of Scones, because how on earth did you take Hards 33 laps?
I couldn't tell you. I pitted under safety car, and I was like, I got a good feeling, because all throughout, like, my practice sessions, quali, my tire wear, Mike was telling me, like, your tire wear is looking a lot lower than everyone else's. And then I decided to take the gamble on that safety car, popped the Hards on after 10 laps. I was like, Mike, how's it look? He's like, I think you can take those to the end. I was like, let's do it. Then obviously I had D Somers behind me by a few seconds, and Mike was like, okay, at his current pace, he's not going to be able to catch you. And then, of course, the Ferrari and Lanky decided to throw a spanner in the works and caught me up with 2 laps to go, which was a bit disappointing.
I'm
but
sorry.
No, Lanky, I wanted to actually apologize to you. I don't remember what lap, but it was like sector 1, just before that hard bank left hand. I'm sorry if I cut you off there. I didn't mean to. I didn't really have anywhere to go.
I think it was just more hard racing. Like, obviously, that's a difficult corner. It's tight, and I was like right on the edge of your back wheel. So I didn't think anything malicious of it. Like, obviously, at the time, I was like, "Fuck's sake," but excuse my language, but yeah.
I was literally on my stream. You can watch it
wasn't-
back, and I was like,
it
"I'm
wasn't
so
your fault.
sorry, Lanky.
It
I'm
was
so
just
sorry."
hard racing. Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, I can tell you those tires felt absolutely horrendous by the end.
Do you even know what percentage they're on? Because they must have been near 100.
With 5 laps to go, Mike was telling me it was at 68%.
I don't understand how you took those tires that long.
I mean, I was kind of surprised by it, to be honest, because just sort of, you usually expect that you would need another pit stop, and I decided to just keep going, and then, you could feel them falling off quite badly, which you probably saw in my lap times and pace. Probably around lap 25 was probably when they were really, really gone. But yeah, I'm happy with the P6. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure what happened to Lime. I think he may not have been able to get his setup on, I think somebody was saying.
I think he should have had his setup on. I think he did. I think he didn't get his strategy at the start of the race because there was an early ready up. I think that was his
Who
bid.
readied up?
We'll have to find out who it was. Via the stewards.
Yeah, I was in the middle of sorting out my strategy as well, like that other guy that mentioned it. That was annoying.
And
it
absolutely
happens.
unrelated to who the culprit might be, Ledge Man, how'd your race go?
Right, let's start with the ready up. I think it was me. I was just sat here on my phone, and my wheel was a little bit broken, so it kind of just does stuff on its own. I just sat on my phone, and all of a sudden, it just readies up. And I could see that I'm the only one that's readied, so it's like, oh, well, that most likely, it might not be. I mean, you might look on the stream and it might not be, but I'm pretty sure it is. But obviously, I got disqualified in quali. My bad. I thought I was going fast enough out the pit lane to not be classed as blocking because I was trying to let people pass. Apparently, I wasn't, so that's just my fault. I don't normally blue flag from pit lane, so I should have probably timed that a little bit better. And then at the start of the race, I got damage off of Northie. Just broke at a point where I wasn't quite expecting him to. Just clipped my front wing. The safety car was kind of a godsend for me. It brought me back into the race. And this isn't a great track for me, so overtaking already I find difficult here, and my general pace isn't the greatest. So once I got a couple of positions, I tried to take the hardest to the end. I thought I may as well give it a go. There was no way that I was ever going to do that. So I ended up, and then right as I was probably 2 laps away from boxing, Ollie came to come past me and sort of just clipped my front and just set me into a wall. Wing was completely gone. I had to just box again. So onto mediums. I think I got like P14, 15. So at least I got points at the end of it. I'm happy enough with that. So hopefully next week can be a little bit better. I'm not great at Mexico, but a whole lot better than Zandvoort.
Well, we may have caught that on stream, so if you do want to report to the stewards your clash with Ollie,
yeah,
you may do.
And also, Ollie because Ollie can't make it to interviews, he was telling me that he got a big speed in the pit lane violation because he forgot that the limiter was at 37 miles an hour, not 49. And then once he boxed onto the softs, he went for fastest lap and completely binned it on a wall at like turn 3.
I mean, he did get fastest lap, so
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he
he'll
went
take
for fastest lap and then carried on going for fastest. Like, just carried on trying to push it, and the car just unsettled. He
No, wasn't
pushed
it-
a little bit too far.
Didn't Crimson get fastest?
no, it was Ollie.
Oh,
Absolute
I
scenes.
saw him with the fastest lap, like lap 27 or 28.
Well,
Ollie did it about lap 30.
yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Scones
Yeah.
was too busy keeping an eye on his Hard's tyre wear to notice the new fastest lap.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was more trying to see how much harder I'd have to try and push to hope that D Summers didn't catch up. But then obviously you had Lanky and
Tight.
Yeah, I made
Was it
a
tight clear?
mistake. I made a mistake before the short DRS section, and Lanky got in front of me around that corner. And,
Oh yeah. As soon as I saw you, I was like, yeah, I'm dipping in there.
yeah, he got past me, and at that point, I was like, okay, just stay with Lanky, stay with Lanky. 2 laps in a row, I was in his DRS, opened the DRS on the last corner, and then my rear end would slide and unsettle the car. And I just couldn't get past him. And then Ty passed me on the straight when I dropped out of the DRS. But because of Lanky and Ty giving me the DRS, I was able to catch up with Scones. Just not
Was it-
pass him because he was so damn slow.
what?
Was it you I passed around the outside at turn
Yes.
1? Yeah, did you make any move there? The outside line on turn 1 is much better than the inside. I tried making a move down the inside of someone in the opening 10 laps. I'd have to look back in the stream to see who it was. But I tried making a move down him on the inside like 3 or 4 times, and every time he would out traction me on the exit of turn 1. So I thought, right, I'm going around the outside, and I got better traction than you. So it definitely, yeah, bear that in mind. The outside is better at turn 1.
I should have learnt my lesson from May Mystery Month, because that's where I believe I passed Ellis, Ledgeman, in the rain in May Mystery Month, the outside of turn 1. So I should have learnt my lesson from that.
Yeah, it's a weird corner. for like side by side.
So, who's feeling good about Mexico?
Ledgeman
Yeah,
win.
but not on tire temps.
Hmm.
Tires are going to be the hard one. I haven't done a long race around Mexico, so I'm going to have to try and do that to get some information.
I just
I
want to
think.
shoot myself in the foot. That was god awful. I want to shoot myself in both of my feet.
I mean, you did that this race, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I suppose. So.
we'll move on
Still,
to
I
our
wanna
final
shoot my feet.
interviewee of Sci-Fi Mega Hype. Sci-Fi, how'd your race go?
It wasn't too bad this week. When we started, I considered not even doing quali because I was like, okay, I'll just depend on people taking each other out, like I tried last year in Azerbaijan. I think I love safety cars. They're good for this tier. They give us a chance. I love safety cars. Yeah, but it's not bad. I got points this week, so happy.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And does anyone else have any final words as well?
Oh, my friend Raheem, who's new to, he's absolutely buzzing with his P12.
Yeah, I was talking about that. It was going to be his best result. We also seen Andre. He got his best result of P8 as well. A couple newcomers with some of their best results so far. Which is lovely to see, especially TJ, who picked up his first win in WHF as well. So, got a lot of people who are happy today, but unfortunately some, the likes of Lime, who are not having the best of days. But Lime will be back, especially after having 2 wins this season. You can definitely expect that Lime will be back up at the top step of the podium very soon. But we'll find someone to raid on our way out. And who can we raid? Let us raid Steelwolf. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, this has been WHFR Arrow for round 4, tier 2 in the Netherlands. And TJ is your winner. But thank you all for watching, and goodbye.